All right, we are live. Hello, and welcome to Plano Idea Exchange. It is time for our Wednesday video call. We do this every Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time, and different people may or may not jump on throughout the call, and we'll just, hopefully I'll catch that they've logged in and let them in the room. My name is Karen Maxwell. I am the Impact Master Trainer for Real Impact Plano. We meet the first Saturday of every month in person. So this Saturday, January 7th, we'll be meeting at Quest Trust in Addison. It's Dallas. At 9:30 for networking, and then it goes till noon. And I will be the presenter this week. I will be presenting on goal setting. And I have some great gifts for all the attendees. So if you can make it, if you're in the area, make sure that you put it on your calendar. Let me grab the link for that. Meetup.com and grab that. So it's Impact Plano Real Estate Investor Group is the easiest way to find all of our meetings because I put all of them directly on Meetup. Come on. So I'm going to share the link to the group. I think. Oh, there it is. And I got this fancy post a comment. I love playing with this thing. Okay, let's do a banner. Create a banner. Oh, my previous banners are still up there. I can go add those. Add banner. Show. There we go. Go to meetup.com/Impact Plano and then go to the event section and you'll be able to see the different events. And this one is on there, this live call that we do every Wednesday. It's Plano ID Exchange. I call it PI. And there's Mr. Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Howdy.
Look, I'm playing with all my little buttons. I got my little banner up there.
Oh, ready to go.
Yeah. And so now I'm going to go back and put my contact information. Karen Maxwell. And then here's my phone number.
We're going to have to get you one of those stream decks.
I have one.
Oh, yeah?
What's a stream deck?
A stream deck is a little device that sits on your desk.
Yeah.
And then you can push a buttons to make different things happen on your stream.
Oh.
Like let people in, make a graphic pop up on the.
Well, that's on this end. I see all these options, but I haven't ever really had a chance to do it during a live call and play with these things. And I got the banners figured out like 2 weeks ago, but I didn't realize they stay on there. So like I can go up and say, I talked to Emilio, called this guy today. I talked to
awesome.
With TL Global about buying the properties that we have in East Texas that we're thinking about considering selling with owner financing. They will actually buy the property from us, but we have to meet these certain qualifications. And I'm not meeting with him until after this call because he called me back finally right before my last meeting. So I'm super excited about that and being able to offer that as an option because we get that a lot. Will you owner finance? Are you offering owner financing? And that one we're not because we have to pay off our private lender. So we're not willing to sell it with owner financing because you just get a portion and we need to pay off our entire loan so we can cash out. But if I owned it free and clear, then I might be open to that. So it's great.
That sounds awesome.
Put another feather in our hat. So how about you? What have you had going on?
I've been catching up on a lot of work for a lot of different things. As you saw, I've been talking with Podio about getting some more access for our API, still fighting on that.
Yeah. Did you see my email I sent right after?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I was just wanting to double check some stuff before I started talking on your behalf.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Why do I want it? Because I'm the IT guy, and she told me to do this. So that might be we've done that in the past, but it's a trust thing. If somebody signs in on my account, they have access to my entire account, and there have been some nefarious happenings in the past. So and I haven't known anyone that needed that kind of access. And I told you before about the employee versus not an employee. I mean, it's considered an employee, but you're not my employee. And that the employee didn't have any more access than anybody else, than any other admin, other than the fact that I was paying for it monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to pay for an email that's in the same, what is that called? Domain. I have to pay for that email that's in the same domain and add them with that email address to become an employee. And then I have to pay extra for that extra employee each month.
Mm-hmm.
But we can do that if we need to, but it'd probably just easier for you just to sign in under my account.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's perfectly fine. We're still under the terms of service because you're the only person, right?
Yes.
As a part of the organization. So
I'm the only
we're
one.
all good.
Yeah.
I think it's more frustrating. It's just been taking 2 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks to get this approved, and they're just now coming back at us with questions
with an answer. And that's all it says in GlobeFlow. All it says is for someone to be to have access to GlobeFlow, they have to be an admin in that workspace, which you were.
Yep.
And then we found out that you had to hit refresh from Podio in order for the new changes to take effect, which is standard, but it's something we just didn't think about. And that's all it says. It doesn't say anything about anybody having to be an employee to make changes. So.
Yep. No, I agree, and I think we'll be good. I just got to get that email written up, and hopefully we can get that pushed through this week.
Yeah. Okay. So, what about? So I know you've been busy with your W-2 job because you got back from your little vacay and your holidays and everything. And 2023 starting, we'll be meeting this Saturday. We're gonna be talking about goals. So I've been creating some great handouts, and then I'm gonna bring my this thing, digital frame that has my goals on it as it flips.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't updated them because this is for 2022. But I did go in and update them on my my PowerPoint to show what goals I met last year, which ones I nixed, X'd, did away with, deleted, and the ones that I tweaked. So what I wanted was not what I got. I haven't reached that goal yet, but I've decided to change my parameters, I guess you would say, change what I was wanting. So, like, for example, I used to want to have 2 new IMTs per month, but then I realized I couldn't give the benefit of the training onboarding 2 at the same time, number one, because you have to train. I want them to be trained to be successful. So I got to train. I had to change that. And then I used to want to have build a new CRM for 1 new client a month so I can devote my time and attention to theirs. And then because of you, I can change that goal because it doesn't take me a month. So super excited about all that. Super excited. So I'll be launching the Real Simple CRM on Saturday.
All right.
But I still have to get these issues, these automation issues. Eric sent me a message. I'll see. We have a Zoom call tonight? And I'm like, yeah, 7 p.m. But I evidently changed today's Zoom call from 11 to 10:30, and it changed it from 10:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. So and it's on everybody's calendar as 10:30 p.m. I'll get back to that. I'll fix that in a minute. I've had way too much going on, pulled in way too many different directions. So we're still working on our expo. We talked about that last week, right? A little bit.
We talked about it a little bit.
Okay, so we have the expo coming up. It is the Building Your REI Dream Team, your real estate investing dream team. So everybody has to have a team especially with real estate. And the more team members you have, the more successful you'll be faster. And so I thought about something. I wrote it down in our last meeting with Dennis, and I said, when you are a doctor, whenever you want to be a doctor, and you get in, you go through school and you have certain requirements you have to meet in order to get accepted to medical school or law school or whatever. But then when you get into law school, or medical school, then you have classes, books, strategy sessions where you get together with friends that are in the same classes and y'all work through problems together, kind of like masterminds. You have different teachers for different classes. And then each year you might have a similar class, but a different instructor in a different section, like, anatomy and physiology. Is it anatomy and anatomy and A&P? Anatomy and physiology? Is that what it is? Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
Sounds
so I don't know.
right.
Something like that. I don't know. But then you have tutors, and then you have practical experience where like now you're a doctor, but you're going to go in and you're going to practice in this hospital or whatever, and you're a resident. And then I'm reaching into my Grey's Anatomy education here. You go in to be a resident, and then you are practicing being a doctor. And then you hone in on your specific niche that you like. Maybe you want to go into labor and delivery. Maybe you want to go into neurosurgery or whatever, general surgery, whatever. But it's very similar with real estate investing. And so if you are a doctor and you are a neuroscientist, you work in the brain, but then you have a patient that comes in and they've broken a leg and they have a brain injury. You have to work on the brain injury while somebody else that you can rely on works on that leg. And then you need somebody else to triage them and make sure that everything's found, everything that's could have been found has been found. And you need somebody else to do the paperwork because you're the doctor. You don't need to be doing the paperwork. You don't need to be billing the insurance company. So every profession, every business has multiple needs. And where is your focus better spent? Does that kind of make sense?
No, it absolutely makes sense.
Good deal. I'm glad, because I was like writing that down while he was talking about his lesson today was the what we provide as mentors. So we provide all of this knowledge and skill that we have, but I don't use every bit of my skill every single day. If I'm buying an apartment building, it's different than if I'm buying a house. It's the same concept, all the same underlying skills, but then you have to go put your specialized knowledge into that. This is different because I'm buying a multi-million-dollar property. I'm going to need different type of financing. I'm going to need different type of underwriting. I'm going to need different type of, things like that. So anyway, our expo that's coming up, I've started looking for the sponsors, and I've had great success with people wanting to sponsor. But the problem I'm running into is that we're only allowing one presenter per specialty. And so a lot of people expressed interest in it, but they didn't jump fast enough. So now I've already got people signing up, and now they can no longer sign up as a presenter because I already had that one filled. I mean, like hard money is like I guess I know a lot of people that hard money, and I'm like, that spot's already taken. So I had to make some changes. They can no longer sign up on the website to sponsor as a presenter. They have to get with me, because then I have to run it by and make sure we don't already have someone signed up for that. And I'm like, I'm getting some, well, let me talk to so-and-so and we'll make a decision. I'm like, you need to decide fast, because I've already got somebody that has already filled out their information. They're wanting to submit their payment, and that's going to lock them in. And that was our agreement. We wouldn't have two people presenting on the same business specialty or what have you. So I'm looking for one title company to be a presenter, but I can have other ones as just sponsors that are in the room and have a table. So now it's becoming a frenzy. Now it's becoming a competition, like who can get there first. And I'm like, I've been talking about this for a while, so I need you to, I gave you the heads up beforehand anyway. And now here it is. And now you have to make a decision. So,
yep.
Anyway, so there we go. So did you get your mailing started yet? You were going to do some
My
drip?
my mailing is started. We
Okay.
started mailing in the middle of December last year. Last year, um, and so
So basically almost 3 weeks ago.
yeah, it was.
Okay.
And so what we're working to do is one. My sister's doing a lot of research.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on automating moving that research over to my marketing guy, and now we have to be doing some calls.
Okay.
So with the beginning of this year and with last month finally being over, with as busy as I was last month, I
Uh-huh.
finally had the time to be making these calls and start following up with people.
Okay.
Um, and then as I start making these calls, we're going to start automating some emails, adding them to uh, drip campaigns. It's going to be an interesting experience as I work to tailor personalized emails to these individuals using the info gathered in the CRM.
There you go. There you go. So, have you already started creating your drip campaign for the emails?
I've started writing some drafts, but I haven't started the campaign itself or
Okay.
started
I
building the
may
campaign
already
itself.
have some that you can use,
Hmm.
like the text, because that's what I have on. Basically, I did an introduction email. Hey, any chance you'd be interested in selling this property or any property you might want to sell? And then a month later, hey, I never heard back from you. Just wanted to check to see if you are interested in selling this property. And those are for cold calling. So I only have two because I'm just cold emailing. Um,
Hmm.
and then, but I had quite a few created for depending on where we're at. They contacted me and wanted to sell their property, but they never accepted an offer, or they said no. Did they ghost me? Did they say no? Did they say yes, but then backed out or never signed the contract? Or we were negotiating and we couldn't come to an agreement, and they never said yes or no. I hate those. Just
Yeah.
That's why we say go for the no. If you go for the no, you can mark that one off and stop expending your energy on it and focus on the ones that you can still work with. And that gets you that much closer to a yes. So
There was a negotiation book that I recently read. That's what was it? Look for the no, start with the no. They're
go.
basically looking for all the no's on why this deal can't work, so you can figure out and get closer to why it does work.
Yep. I know whenever we're presenting subject to, sometimes, we used to just start with a cash offer, and the cash offer was always lower than their balance. So, if I was going to pay you cash, I could offer you this much. That won't work because you owe more than that. So
Yep.
now we've eliminated that offer. Now we're at these two offers. I can do this or I can do this, depending on their needs. Depending on if the property needs a lot of work and they're behind in payments, they're not getting anything for that equity. I'm sorry. Now I have to put money into it. If it's a great property and I can just move, close on it and then get a tenant rent, get it rented out to a tenant immediately, then maybe I can give them some money for their equity in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't ever promise equity at the end, and I don't ever promise to pay off the property within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Because that's just me. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. So how can I offer a balloon payment in 5 years? So I don't even mention it. I know some people used to say, typically I'll refinance in 2 years. But that and all that client here, all that seller hears is they're going to pay this off in 2 years.
Yep.
And you don't want to do that if that's not your intention. And
even if it is your intention, you don't know what's going to pop up.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that the interest rates would have gone up so high?
Yeah.
And so now, I mean, those 3.5% interest rate loans are looking great,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll buy it. I don't make any promises. Like it's real estate is a risk. And when we're taking, they're like, a lot of people get hung up on their equity. They're like, well, I'm giving you all this equity. Why am I not getting anything? Dude, you're fixing to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell it because it needs too many repairs. You're upside down on the mortgage because the current value is not even what you owe on it. So then you're set up for a short sale predicament, but I could just take it over. I have the money to put into it, but why wouldn't I want that reward for my risk? I'm the one making the risk.
But let's also talk about what they are getting out of it. Their credit's not going to take that huge hit for the next 7 years. Number one, they don't have to
And it's
work on
going to be
that
showing
payment for the next several months.
on-time monthly payments is going to help their
Yep,
credit. Yep. Keep going.
exactly. Well, that was it. They don't have to pay their mortgage anymore.
I
You're
say
taking
I'm
care of it. Their
relieving you of
credit
that debt.
starts
I'm relieving you
exactly.
of that. How much would an extra $1,400 a month help you?
Oh, it'd
Oh,
be
you're going to pay
awesome.
me $1,400 a month? No, I'm relieving you of that debt. If the air conditioner goes out, do you have $4,000 to pay to repair it? Because I do. But if you don't, that's another. I'm saving you from the taxes, the insurance, the stress, the payment. I'm relieving you of that payment. I am taking on all the risk. I'm going to be taking care of all the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, everything. I'm going to be mowing that yard when it's sitting empty for 2 months in the summer when you got to mow the yard every 2 weeks. I'm going to be responsible for that. No code enforcement letters because you haven't mowed your yard and it's 12 inches tall because you haven't been there in 2 weeks and it rained 2 days. I can't believe how fast the weeds grow after a rain. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. I hate it when I have to end up mowing my lawn twice or once a week in the middle of the summer because it just grows so fast.
Yeah. I remember there was a while when it was raining on Wednesdays. It would rain every Wednesday. And I was used to it raining and then not raining for a while. So you mow like 2 or 3 days after it rains and you're fine for a while. But when it's raining every Wednesday, you could have mowed on Tuesday. It rained on Wednesday and your weeds are this tall on Thursday. And then you got to mow again. So,
yep.
But I mean, and that's one of those things. Whenever you go to list a property, you got to make sure it's being cleaned regularly because people want to go look at houses after it rains. I'm like, oh, the mud, they're going to put mud all over the floor. You try to put runners and they still, we have those little booties, like legal box booties by the front door so they can just slide them on over their shoes. Like either please take your shoes off or slide these booties on and then throw them in the garbage when you leave. Don't just take them off I can't believe people will use the restroom in your flips and not flush the toilet. I'm like, if the water was on, why didn't you just flush the toilet? I mean, I'm okay with you using the restroom, but flush the toilet and always leave toilet paper in your flips and your rentals because if you don't, they will use it without the paper. Find something else to use for paper and they will flush that down your toilet. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I had a question that came up earlier. Somebody called right before this meeting, as a matter of fact, and was asking me about I have a subject to what all paperwork do I need? And she was at the class and she was just wanting to make sure that she was right. So I want to go over that again. Letter of understanding, your contract agreement, either your Texas contract, your state promulgated contract, which for her she lives here in Princeton, but the deal is in Louisiana. So she went to find the Louisiana contract off of her state contract off of her thumb drive, and then the letter of understanding, and then the subject to addendum. So, one thing that I thought about is the lady that bought the Paula is in Oklahoma. So I've got to go double check to make sure that nothing in the automation says just Texas. I think that's why I put state. That should be the only place that state is mentioned, but I want to make sure before I and then just have her let me know if there's anything that comes up that says Texas and it's supposed to be Oklahoma.
It's a good call out.
Yeah, I count in GlobeFlow somewhere you can count, or maybe it's in Podio. So when we do if I could figure this out, and I'm going to try to explain it, what I'm trying to do. I want it to count. I want it to add to. So I wanted to update the field, the categories, without changing the other categories. And I woke up Sunday morning with a hangover, mind you, And that's what my thought was when I woke up. Oh, I need to have it count. I mean, I need to have it update, not replace. And then
Hmm.
I want it to count. So if it was at one, if there was one, and then it updated and we're adding a second one, now I want it to say two. In other words, how many lists is this person on? And that's something that we
Hmm.
have. I haven't even put in the real simple CRM, but I thought about it because what it used, whenever I used to have it, when you put in a new list, it would update that one because it was toggling.
Oh, that's no good.
And so I had it made where you don't toggle it, just put it in and let the system look for the duplicates and then identify the duplicate, but it would change it. In other words, okay, if it was on Collin County tax delinquent, okay, so it would say CCTD would be the code. And then 3 months later, and I've already skip traced this person and started mailing to them. And then 3 months later, I get a code enforcement list, and that same property pops up on the code enforcement list. Now they're Collin County Code Enforcement, CCCE. So when it would update in GlobyFlow, it would take the CCTD off and change it to CCCE. So I don't
Hmm.
want it to replace it. I want it to update it. And then I want it to count. How many lists is this on? This is now on 2. And then we go back and add, let's say they're late on their payments. Collin County late pay, CCLP. Now we're on 3 lists. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you can judge how hot that lead is, how
Yes.
motivated they'll be very
Yes.
easily.
Yes. And if you've never gotten their contact information, you know that that's one that is worth maybe doing some, having your sister do some extra researching.
Yep.
So I have all that on the mailing list app in the original workspace, not on the because I didn't want to put it on the simple one if it wasn't simple to use, and that is very complicated to use. There's just certain ways it's got to go in, or else it's not going to work the way it's supposed to work. But anyway, so hopefully I can get that done by Saturday. Maybe you'll
Yeah,
help.
that would be great. No, yeah, I
You'll,
would. I'll take a look at it, and I would love to help with that.
um,
It sounds like something that we should be able to implement pretty
pretty
quickly.
easily. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, then so you have any leads yet from your calls? I mean, from your
Uh,
dealer?
no, not yet. But whenever we start doing these follow-ups, I'm sure I'll start getting something.
Oh,
It's all about the follow-up. So
yes.
what's that? You're
The
gonna say something.
yes. So didn't we talk several months ago about a mail that you were working with a mail house to see if they had an API?
Uh, I was before. Right now, I'm working with an individual that's starting up their marketing business right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm working with them directly. And instead of using an API, I'm just doing an automated email to them whenever on a daily basis, every time there's something to actually be mailed out.
Okay. So is it it's not doing one-offs.
Uh, the It is doing one-offs in the sense that the envelopes are handwritten, and then there's a letter that goes in there that is specific to the property and owner. So it specifically addresses the owner and it specifically addresses the property.
Okay. And so are you paying for that or are you buying credits, or how are you doing your payments?
So we worked out a little bit of a deal where he helps me, I help him.
Okay.
I'm paying all the cost that's associated with that,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm going to be working on developing a case study that goes along with this, and we'll be working together to help promote and get his business off the ground as well.
Okay. So that's what we need. Somebody was asking me, I was trying to explain what a CRM is. A CRM
Hmm.
just is a database. And then the automation that we can create does all the magical stuff. But if you don't put the data into the database, the data can't be sorted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trying to explain that my system does not make phone calls and it doesn't send text messages, but it can be connected with other services that do.
Yep.
And then therefore you can, like, for example, with Roar, sending out the text blast, everything can be handled through Podio. You can reply, you can DNC them, you can send a text, receive a text, whatever, through Podio, but you got to send that first one out through Roar.
Yep.
That I can't help. I mean, I don't have the capability to do that. I don't want the capability to do that. That's just one more way for someone to sue me because they got sued for sending out a bunch of text messages. You know, I don't want that kind of responsibility.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't want that kind of target on my head. And the same with the calling. You have to set that up through a third party, another service. But my system, the CRM, can keep up with all the data. So CallRail, you can set it up with CallRail to send and receive phone calls through CallRail. That's an extra fee to set all that up. And then you're still paying for the CallRail service. You're still paying for the Roar service. And Podio is just keeping up with all the data, all the stream of calls and call recordings and text messages, and then all the text flows, all that. It's just the way to keep up with it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking to someone else today about using too many services or signing up for too many services that you're not using.
Yep.
And, shiny ball syndrome.
Shiny object syndrome.
Shiny object syndrome, where this is the new latest and greatest. Oh, this is the new latest and greatest. Oh, this is the new latest and greatest. And I was the not procrastinator. What is that called? The negative Nancy when it comes to getting the newest and greatest and all this. I'm like, it may be the newest, greatest, and latest for this, but we don't do that, and we're not going to do that, and we don't need to do that. I can do that over here with Podio and set it up through GlobyFlow through an automation. Real, super easy. And we're not paying monthly for that. But every time you sign up for a new service, that's a new expense. And for example, if you sign up for Propelio, PropStream, any of that stuff, that's $97 a month for their service that you have access to. And if you don't go use it, you're wasting that money. So go use it. Go. Shreyas was on and then he left. But if you, I wanted to put let's go with that. Okay, here we go.
Well, I know that was a huge problem for me when I first got started. I ended up having, Propelio, PropStream, and batch leads.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to figure out what the best one was, what worked for me. And when you add it all up, that's like $300 a month just for those 3 platforms.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later on I started figuring out how it was that I wanted to interact with these platforms.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to forget what you're subscribed to, how those expenses just start piling up, and then you don't realize it till the end of the year, assuming you do your own,
or in some
bookkeeping
cases, until April.
Which is even worse.
Which is even worse. Or if you do an extension and you don't do it till October, now you don't even know what your expenses were for that year. That was now 10 months ago.
Yep.
So don't don't procrastinate on doing your taxes and at least looking at your books. I had that conversation too. I have a lot of conversations, some with the same person. So hi, Gabi. And they're not all her problems. They are her clients' problems, her students' problems, the issues that come up and things that we're trying to brainstorm and come up with a solution for. And that's one of the things is that look at it like a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The husband and wife want a bigger house. They want to live in this city. They want this type of a house. And how are they going to get there? They work together toward that same goal. Well, in business, it's the same thing. You have if you have more than one partner, you have 2 partners working for the same business, that this is the goal. But if they don't communicate, this one could be working toward this, and this one's working toward this, and then there's no cohesiveness. You're working toward two different goals. Now that's fine if this one's strength is this and this one's strength is that. So they're handling this and they're handling that, but it's got to be building that foundation to that ultimate goal. Otherwise, you're not going to be rowing in the right direction. In some cases, you're working against each other. That's what I found 2 years ago. I was doing all this stuff to get all these leads, and I started reading the responses that my business partner was responding where she was insulting them. And I'm like, I understand that person wanted $1 million. He's not motivated. But what if that house is worth $2 million? He could be motivated. So his response, $1 million, might very well be a good deal. But we won't know because you insulted him. And maybe he was just being facetious, just trying to see if you were going to be a not nice person or someone that's just not educated in following up and keeping after it and peeling back those onion layers and getting to the real root. Maybe he does want $1 million for the property that he lives in because we mailed him and text blasted him about the property that he lives in, which is his personal residence. But maybe he has 30 other single family residences that he would sell for $30,000 a piece or $300,000 a piece or whatever. But we won't ever know because you insulted him. That's not, and some people, that's their, I won't say his name, but there are people that I know that post their stuff, their crude responses, behavior on Facebook, and that's just his thing. That's what he's known for. But he's still making money. I wouldn't do it. My approach is different, but that doesn't mean it's a bad approach. I just wouldn't do things the way he does it. And I also don't have that pushback, that drama from the sellers. I mean, I actually had a guy one time send us a letter, put our postcard, wrote it up, cussed us out all over the postcard, folded it up, put it in an envelope with a dollar bill, and told me I must be really broke and need this money more than him. And he sent me $1. Do you know how much time, effort, and energy and just anger went into that one response? And I'm like, oh, coffee money. And I just put it aside. And then we laughed and I shared it with the team. Hey, look what we got today. Must be pretty happy. Another happy customer.
Well, hey, you got your note. So you're not going to be wasting your time anymore.
Definitely got my note and $1 for coffee.
Exactly.
So, I'm like, God, like he even put a stamp on it and mailed it. I mean, he didn't even put like return to center FU.
That's just too much work.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, did he do this just for me, or does he do that for every single person that sends him a letter? I mean, like what? Or was he just having a really bad day and my postcard landed in his mailbox on that day? I literally stand at the mailbox and just over my trash can and throw away the junk mail.
Yeah.
But if I was a motivated seller and I had a property for sale that I needed to sell and this postcard came in, I would then act on it.
Yep. I agree.
So, hey, everybody out there, we're not trying to steal your house. We just want to buy properties. So if you have a property you want to sell, contact us, or that you need to sell, So you gotta gauge their motivation. So, hey, Shreyas, not sure if you are just going to be listening. I've got you in, so you feel free to chime in.
Hey.
There you are. How are you doing?
Yes, doing good. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Tyler and
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, nothing going on. I was kind of just hearing some of the, I just joined like a couple of minutes ago, but I was hearing all the nice experiences you had, not so nice experiences you had, I guess.
Well, I've been doing this for 9 years, so I've got some stories. We should have a crazy story Friday night before the Saturday meeting powwow or something. I don't know, but yeah. So Shreyas, you're still doing you're still is it tax liens or tax deeds? Because I always forget.
Well, I mean, I just tried a little bit on the tax liens and tax deeds, but you know, the price is ridiculously. At least in Texas, I went to one of the Tarrant County actually in Fort Worth. You know, the price, it's the minimum bid is kind of affordable, but it soon just goes beyond my range. You know, it starts from like 5,000. Yeah, maybe I can afford that, but 10, 15, then goes to 50. Yeah, that,
So there's
yeah,
a
it just,
lot of work that goes into it. I know that's what Arnie Abramson, he's going to be talking in
mhm.
Tyler, or he was in Tyler last night. And he's a tech. Let me go find it. Texas tax liens.
Was that who it was that spoke at Quest a
Yes,
couple months ago?
yes,
He was great.
yes. And that's the one thing. So Texas, where's it? Texas tax sales, not liens. Texas tax sales. I'm hoping that he will come to the expo and talk about tax sales.
Okay. I mean, I'm not particular about just in, you know, tax liens and tax deeds. I still have to figure out. I mean, like the one which you have on Saturday, the goal settings and all that. That I think hopefully will be helpful. I mean, whenever I hear anything or read anything, well, I think okay, maybe I can chase that or I can do that, and then. But you know, it soon feels like okay, this is getting too much, or this is just beyond me. You know, like
Right.
Tyler, I know you started the wholesaling, and then you know it start with doing the acquisition and the wholesaling with. But I feel that is a little tough in negotiating and talking to the owners, and then but then that's how, you know, I remember you saying that you need a little bit of the equity and the capital, so that's why I started with the wholesaling. But
Mhm.
you know, the tax sales again, liens is something, but then there's a lot to learn. Every state, every county is different. They have their own rules. But soon, at least in Texas, you feel okay, 25% return on you know, whatever you give, but then you need to have that capital like 50, 60, 70K easily, which goes beyond at least my affordability. And
Yeah.
I'm just like you, working 9 to 5 and trying to do this as a side thing. But I was also reading
I think one of
about
the things.
CRE.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that you said about looking at doing a lot of different things. I think that's for me my biggest issue. Whenever I was getting started last year, was that I was just trying to do everything, and I got overwhelmed by that, and I didn't have my goals ironed out, and I didn't have my focus. And you know, you allow yourself to open up to all these different things, and it wasn't until recently I started really focusing on one thing, and then taking that and focusing on a niche of that one thing. And it's been a lot easier for me to focus on that and work towards the specific goal, as opposed to, you know, allowing that to stray into whatever else may be catching my eye for shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, we actually talked
Yeah.
about that earlier. So I heard what you said. You said I was looking for my notes from Arnie is what I was doing. I'm always looking for my notes. And we were talking about being a doctor. Like if you're a neuroscientist, what is the neurosurgeon? If you're a neurosurgeon and
Hmm.
you have a patient that comes in with a brain injury and a broken leg, you're not going to fix the broken leg. You're going to work on the brain injury, but you need to have somebody that's capable to fix the broken leg so that you can concentrate on the brain. But then you also don't want to be running around doing the paperwork and filing the insurance and all this other stuff because you are the brain surgeon. So I get what you said about not wanting to, like, you don't have the capital. You don't want to be dealing with contacting motivated sellers, which is why you chose tax liens, tax deeds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was trying to clarify. It's in Texas. It's a tax
Deed.
deed state.
Texas is a tax deed. Yeah, redeemable tax deed. Yes.
Yes. And so I remember Roger telling the story about the guy that spent all the money on the lien, thinking that he bought the house, but it was the lien that he bought. And I can't remember what the story was. We'll have to ask Roger about that. But that's one of the things the thing that kept me from ever even being a little bit curious about tax deeds, tax auctions, going to tax auction, is that they had 2 years to come back and buy the property. They had a 2-year right of redemption. And so therefore you're tying your money up in a property that they may come back in 2 years and take away from you. And so in my mind, I thought, oh, well, that means I can't do anything with it for 2 years. Or what if they come back in 6 months and pay it off? And okay, I'll get my 25% back, but what if I have a tenant in there? Then what do I do? And then it really helped me when I learned from Arnie that they only have a 6-month right of redemption if it wasn't homesteaded.
Yes.
They have a 2-year right of redemption if it was homesteaded, which means that it was actually that house. Sorry, I saw you nodding your head. I thought somebody else was in here because I have you on 2 screens. But anyway, so that really alleviated that fear. But that's only because I went to his class and got educated on the specifics. Because when I learned about it in 2014, that's all I heard. 2-year right of redemption. I was like, nope, I don't have, $50,000 to put toward a house and hold on to for 2 years to wait to see.
Makes sense.
Do it, but now I know that number one, it's just a cost of doing business. Number two, I can go in and fix the property up to preserve it. And then if they come back and pay that right of redemption, they have to pay me back for that. So
True.
all these reasons, all my no's, Tyler, remember we were talking about earlier about no's?
Yep.
All of my no's, the reasons why I didn't want to do it, were alleviated because I listened to him at the right time. 8 years ago, it wasn't important. It caused me to say no. I was not in that I was not in that space. But now I'm like, oh, okay. So now I know that all of my no's have a rebuttal. So now I'm negotiating with myself. Okay, maybe it would be a good deal. Now, does that mean that I'm going to devote all of my time, energy, and attention toward those? No, that's not my thing. But Doug and Renee do. That's how they make their money. That's how they get a lot of their properties, is from doing that. And also working with Arnie and buying properties for other investors. So that's a really cool option. But if one came up in Collin County that I wanted, then I would very much apply my focus toward that property. But I wouldn't go through the entire list, see which ones were available, see which ones are still available at auction day. Like there's a lot of work that goes to preparing to go to the auction to bid on the property that you might win, that there may not even be a house there anymore because it burnt down last week.
Exactly. That's all really costly risks.
Yeah. But you're never dealing with the seller.
True.
And they are motivated to get rid of the property. That when it reaches auction, they are motivated to get rid of that property. But there are other people that are competing with you. So, to each his own.
Well, they're not motivated, but just they're just broke paying. I mean, the reason they couldn't pay their taxes and they couldn't keep their house. So it's just desperation at that point. I mean, trying to keep the house, but they're not able to afford the property taxes. So definitely, and you cannot even go into the property. So that's all the risk you need to take, because you cannot go in and see how's the condition of the property, and you cannot do anything. I mean, it's almost like trespassing. Even if you buy the lien or redeemable tax deed, you're not supposed to enter the property. So that's considered trespassing. So
After the fact or before the fact?
I mean, even after, I mean, especially the lien. I know the tax lien.
Tax
It
lien,
is
yes, but with a tax deed,
redeemable tax deed is, I don't know how different it is. Some of them, they just sell the tax deed itself. So you're the owner at that point. When you bid and you win, you're the owner. You can just go in and remove the property owners. Like you will be the new property owner. But the redeemable tax deed is slightly different, where you have the deed, but then the owners are still allowed to reside within the property, and they have that, as you said, 6 months or 1 year or 2 years before they can come back and they can redeem the property. So that you're not the owner, you cannot get the keys to the house at that point, because they still have some time before they come back, and they could come back and pay you.
I may have misunderstood something, but from my notes, it looks like you are straight up buying the property when you go to buy the tax deed.
Tax deed, yes. Tax deed, you will get the deed. You are the new owner. But the redeemable tax deed may be different. That's where that's where I am not sure.
From what Arnie says, because my brain was thinking the exact same thing Tyler was thinking. You are the owner, and you can go in and you can preserve the property. But if they are living in that house, then you have to evict them. So that's where maybe we're thinking something kind of different. So Tyler, let's make sure we ask Arnie about that.
Okay.
Arnie.
We need to, again, specify what state. I mean, I assume this is Texas. So Texas has redeemable tax deed. That means the property owners have that 2 years, and especially if assuming this is a homestead, property owners have 2 years before they come back, and they could come back and redeem the property. So maybe something to clarify.
What he was talking about was in the time that you own the deed, after you've bought it, you have the right to go in, make changes to the house, make improvements, but you're not supposed to. Yes, only as long as they're working to preserve the condition of the house or make it livable.
Yes.
If you are going above and beyond, making improvements, then that's not something that would be refundable if the deed was.
That's correct.
Redone. So
that is correct.
By
like
that
if
logic,
should
be allowed in the house after you buy the deed. It's just a matter of evicting the occupants after the deed is bought.
I don't think you can evict the tenants. I don't think so. I mean, evict
tenants are different from a homeowner.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my opinion, this is the way I'm looking at this. I fully agree with what you're saying. If I was going to make an offer on a property, I would want to make sure that the people aren't still living there, because if I'm going to go in and now have to wait 2 years, that's going to tie up my money. If I want that property, then I would still do it. But what my exit strategy would be to put a tenant in there making me money. Okay. If the homeowner's still living there and I can't evict them without going through the process or what have you, then it wouldn't work for me. But there are other people that it would. And if it was going to make me enough money, I would. If I can afford to tie that money up for up to 2 years on the risk. Now, I understand if they come back and pay me, I'm getting all my investment back. The amount that I paid for the deed plus the 50% plus or 25%, depending on how long, plus the repairs, I would be okay with that. I would be losing my property, but I want a property making me money as soon as possible. In my opinion, I did not want to sit on an investment for 2 years before I could make money off of it. So those are the ones I wouldn't do. But if I went and look, now I know that if I go look at it and say, is this homesteaded? And if it's homesteaded, no, I don't want to bid on it. But this one's vacant, non-homesteaded. This is what I'd want to make a bid on. But that's just that's part of my buy box, my criteria. And mine is not the same as someone else's. So.
I completely agree. I mean, 2 years is a long time, 2 years is a long time before if you get back anything. So
yeah.
since I was not there in the meeting, I think, I mean, it would have been nice to have that meeting, but yeah,
You haven't gotten
I
to
don't
hear,
think you had.
right?
Yeah, I was not there on that day. I
He's
missed that meeting, but
He is traveling to a lot of people's groups. So let me see where he's going to be talking again. I don't have him on our schedule because
I mean, yeah,
I'm,
that's fine.
I'm trying to get him to come to the expo. And so
Mhm.
hopefully he'll come to the expo and give us like a 30-minute introduction to that. And hopefully you'll be at the expo, which is going to be in March.
Oh, March. Okay.
Where's our meetings locations? Events calendar. Let me see if I can do a search for Arnie on the events calendar real quick. I know he was in Tyler last night. Arnie. Here it is, Texas tax sales. Okay, he's only scheduled for last night in in Lindale. So maybe I can talk to him and get about getting him to come and do a class with us. Where did y'all just go?
I'm still here.
Here we are. I opened the wrong screen. I have like
Okay.
anyway, my fault. Okay, so Shreyas, Wednesday, I mean this Saturday, we'll have to see you for goal setting. So we'll get some more information on that. I'll see about getting Arnie scheduled to come talk for the expo and to come do an individual Saturday meeting. Whenever I can get him on my schedule. I think I'm booked up until March or April. I can't remember. And I may have already put him on the books. I don't think so. I don't think he's on my list. So, but he was on my list of people to talk to about coming and talk to us. So, I'll let him know that you'd be interested in that because I know that's something that you've been focusing on for a while. So, I want to make sure that you and sometimes learning from somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
they work out
Can
better.
get you motivation a little bit.
Yeah, because that's all they do. They have like a whole system that sorts the leads and it monitors when they get struck off or when they get removed. When people do come in and say they're going to sell the property, so they're taken off the auction and they're given another month or 2 months or whatever, and then they don't sell it and it comes right back on. We've had a couple that we've had to have removed off the auction because we were buying the property. We didn't want it to go to auction, and the title company just let them know they take it off, and then we close next month. But I'm sure there are lots of times when it doesn't close. They couldn't get financing because the house needs too many repairs or what have you. So, okay. Well, that's it, guys. I will let you go because it's almost 1. And great talk today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see y'all hopefully Saturday. Tyler?
Yes, I think I'll be there on Saturday. And you also had that one-on-one, like 1 hour discussions with.
Yep. You want to get that scheduled?
Yeah. So I don't know what to expect as in like what is it? I mean, like in terms of the getting a mentor or.
So basically I'm going to talk with you about what your goals are and then how we can help.
Okay.
Because we have more than one option on mentoring and we have several different options. And you pick the one that works best for you and what your goals are and what you need. So we can do that. I think I'll text you because I know you text me about it, and somebody else texted me about it. I've got like 4 people I got to text back and call back about it. Now that the holidays are over, the new year, I didn't do a new year, new me. I'm like, new year, same old me, but going to be better. New year, better me. How about that? But we always need to be trying to be better, no matter what month, year, or day it is. I had every morning God wakes us up with an opportunity to do better than we did yesterday. So you just gotta know when to shut it down the day before when it's been. It's not a bad day. Anyway, I have to find the video and send it to y'all. It's not a bad. It might be a bad day. You might be having a bad experience, but it's not a bad life just because one bad thing happened. And he had some choice words to say, but then he said, but then tomorrow you got to get up and be better than you are today. So, all right, guys, we'll see y'all Saturday. Tyler, I'll see you tonight on the subject 2 follow-up call.
Yes.
Okay.
Subject 2. So you're now focused on subject 2, or
no?
We focused on the wholesaling.
We did subject 2 all-day event last week.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't attend, but anyway, like I was asking Tyler, so you're shifting from the wholesaling to the subject 2. Even that was interesting.
Oh, right.
So
right now, I'm still focused on the wholesaling. I've been working with Karen on the subject 2 app, and a lot of that is bleeding into a lot of other automation opportunities within the Simple CRM ecosystem.
So subject 2 is not wholesaling is a way to make money, a lot of stack up your cash, but then a subject 2 is a great way to be able to start building your portfolio.
Acquiring
your properties to build your portfolio that you're holding. And so Tyler wants to start holding properties. So wholesaling will make the cash, but then you cherry pick and you start buying them to hold. And subject 2 is just another strategy to use to be able to acquire them with less money and less headaches. I mean, less headaches.
I was there for that initial call in Quest, but I was not there for the whole day training.
Whole day, yeah. So that's what we had tonight.
That was also interesting again. Anyway.
Okay. All right, Sharice, we will get. We'll you and I'll talk, and we'll get you down for that call. But that's all that is just a free 1-hour consult on how we can work together to help you be a better real estate investor. So.
Okay.
Okay, guys. All right. See you later. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.